Now, if you're one of the many people that live on this planet and live in an actual structure with running water, then you know that eventually you're going to get some clogs in your sink to where that water is not going to want to drain out. This is a very common problem, and a lot of people think that they know exactly how to fix this in numerous different ways. And a lot of those ways are going to make it a little bit better, but it's just not going to fix it all the way. That problem's going to come back very soon. You could fix this on your own, and it won't, in many cases, cost you a dime to do. So I'm going to show you how to do it really quickly. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's go. So as you can see, it's not taking very long for this sink to fill up, as the drain is pretty much completely clogged. And as you can see, now that the water's stopped, it's also not draining at a very quick rate. So we definitely have a pretty big clog here. So this is where then most people would grab their Drano, just pour it down the drain, wait 25 to 30 minutes in order for it to drain a little bit faster, just to probably have to do it again in about 2 to 3 months once it's all built back up. So the right way to do this is to get in here underneath of the sink. All right, so no doubt you've all seen this all before. You probably haven't paid a whole lot of attention to it just because this is the area where you put a bunch of stuff that you probably don't use very often. But we've got our drain pipe coming down here. We've got this trap down here on the bottom. Now, if you've ever lost anything like a necklace or a ring, you've probably been down here before, opened this up, and you probably found whatever you lost down here in the trap. This little strap piece of metal back here, this is what controls the plug in the sink. If you want to stop the sink up so you can put water in it, this is what then controls the plunger going up and down and plugging that. And then of course you've got your water shutoffs here. So this is all pretty basic. For the most part, I'm not going to need any tools in order to do this either. But to start out, I like to take a dish pan and just put it underneath of my drain pipe here for any water that's going to be left over. There will be some water in here, so we don't want that going all over the place. All right, so I am going to start off with the trap, and all I got to do is loosen some of these connections in order to take the trap off so that I can fully inspect it and just make sure that there's no plugs in it. And as you can see, there's obviously a little bit of water that's in there. So now I can just pull the trap off. And now that I've got the trap off, now I can just pour it all into that pan. And I can see already that I've got an issue here with a necklace stuck in here. And I also have a pendant that was in the trap. And I'm pretty sure that this is the pendant my wife was looking for and hasn't seen in a very, very long time. So now that mystery is solved. All right, so you all saw me pour this out, and as you saw, there really wasn't anything in there that would have caused a plug in order for the sink not to be able to drain out. Now, this is one of the big reasons why, in most cases, from what I've seen, that the Drano won't work. When you pour that Drano down, it comes down the drain, and the whole idea is it's going to sit in this trap and help dissolve whatever, usually hair or whatever it may be, help dissolve whatever's in the trap, clear up that plug, and then everything can drain properly. Well, as you saw, really wasn't anything in here in order to cause a plug, and so therefore the Drano would not do a whole lot of good in order to really clean up that clog and really fix it the way that it should be. So the next place I want to look for my plug is underneath of this piping here, and the first thing I need to do in order to do that is disconnect the faucet lever for the drain plug, and I can do that just by unscrewing this little plastic nut here that is connected to the rod that controls the drain plug. Once that's done, then I can just pull that rod out of the piping. All right, so now all I got to do to remove this to expose everything underneath is I just have to turn it to the left and just twist it off. So this is actually kind of surprising. Most of the time when I get to this place, I've got all kinds of hair and everything else just hanging out from where this little plunger is that controls the plug. It's pretty much all just hanging down, and I can just pull it out. And as you can see down the drain pipe, it's pretty much open, so our plug is not in there either. So need to move on to the next place. Now, really quickly, if you're finding value in this video and you're finding that it's probably gonna be able to help you out with your problem, maybe save you a little bit of money down the road, if you could do me a huge favor, all I ask is that you give the video a thumbs up right down below, or if you could leave a comment down in the comment section, let me know what you think, or maybe what you do in order to fix this. It really does help the video out to spread out to other people and hopefully be able to help them out as well. I really appreciate it. Let's get back into it. All right, so for the most part, if you haven't found the plug yet and doing the steps that I've showed, this is going to be where it's going to be at. So I like to take a little hook, or you can take a little screwdriver just to get it up underneath of that plug. And then I'm just going to pull it up. And so there is the plug right there. It's a bunch of hair that's just accumulated over time. It's gotten wrapped around this little piece of plastic that's down inside of the drain pipe, and by it being compacted like it is, it's not letting a whole lot of water through. So I'm just going to remove it. All right, so now that I've got that plug completely removed, now I like to look down the actual drain hole just to make sure it's all clear, which it is. All right, so now I'm going to reinsert the drain plug. I want this little plastic tab that has that hole in it. You can see it's on one side or the other. I want the far side to be up against the back of the sink. And I'll be hooking that back up in just a moment. All right, so back underneath of here, now I'm going to take my pipe that I took off and I'm just going to screw it back on. And by the time I've got it all tightened up, I want this little port here, which is where that piece of metal came out of that controls the plug. I want to make sure that once it's all tightened up, that it's facing towards the back. So it's starting to get tight, so I just want to make sure that I turn it enough to get it pointed back towards the back. All right, so now I want to get this little rod inserted back in to control the drain plug. This can be a little bit tricky sometimes, but as long as I point it down towards the bottom of it, oftentimes it'll go right into the bottom of that plug, like so. But once it's inserted in place correctly and that ball is seated, then I'll just take that plastic nut and tighten it back up. So now that all of that's installed, now I can reinstall the trap. And it just slides back up onto this drain pipe here. Once you got it seated, then you can tighten it down. Once that one's tightened up, now I need to make sure that I tighten up the back one as well. So let's turn the wire back on and see how it drains. And while this is doing this, you'll also want to have the cabinet open underneath still, just to make sure that you got everything tightened up and you're not just pouring water into your cabinet down below. So this is the first time I've had to do this in about 6 or 7 years. So I should be able to get at least another 5 years out of it. Whereas when I was pouring this down the drain, it was just a couple of months before I was having to pour some more down, and it wasn't draining as well as it is now. So this is definitely the right way to do it in order to make sure that everything is opened up so that you're not going to have a drain again for a very long time. Now, if you like DIY videos for around your home like I did here today, I've got a bunch of them on the channel that you can check out. I'll post a couple right over here that you can click on really quickly that maybe you will find of interest. So I hope that this was interesting. Hopefully it was helpful for you. If it was, and maybe it saved you some money, if you could do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button right down below. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, you can leave those down in the comment section. And I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.